Welcome, everybody, to Tiki Talk, the podcast. Yes, you have found the brand new podcast here on Spotify and other outlets. My name's Kevin. I'm your host, aka Shipnut. If you haven't seen my stuff on social media, you can find me everywhere. Shipnut Tiki Bar on almost everything. Facebook, it is Kevin's Tiki Bar. I have made over 650 cocktails for your enjoyment to make at home. And I'm going to give you a little backstory of how this all started. Now, I'm originally from the Northeast, from Rhode Island in Massachusetts, and spent most of my life up there. I was a mobile DJ for 16 years, playing weddings and private functions and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed entertaining the masses. Life changes and people change, and I moved here to Florida, and now I am here happily in the tropics of Florida. And but something was missing because I stopped DJing and family and stuff like that. So I was like, what can I do? And for years and years and years, I just kept thinking of what can I do to fill that void of entertaining people. So as time went on, I started looking at, I've always been on Facebook, and I've always been on like MySpace. That tells you my age, doesn't it? So we started doing all that, and I was like, okay, I'll start posting here and there, posting, and not really getting much traction. And I just wanted a fun spot to hang out. And I'm looking one day, I'm sitting by the pool, and I saw my storage shed. And I was like, that's perfect. That sits right by the pool. I could turn that into a tiki bar. Yes, I could. And that thought was in my head for, I would say, about 5 or 6 years, forever before I even started getting into making the tiki bar. And then one day I was like, you know what? Here we go. I was getting a new driveway put in, and I was like, you know what? I'm pouring concrete around this thing, and this is going to happen. Now's my time to do it. So we had all the concrete poured, and then I started tearing up my storage shed for my dream of the tiki bar. And at first I just was like, okay, let's just do this. And I built it myself. I put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this tiki bar. From tear down to build to decorations to everything else. I mean, I've had some friends and family help me along the way with the construction, but it was just so fun to build and so fun to make. Oh, you can find the videos on my social media too of the start of my tiki bar. So after the tiki bar was built, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start recording some videos. So I recorded actually making the tiki bar, and I started getting a little traction on that on TikTok. And I just started on TikTok not too long ago, about a year ago. I started on my TikTok venture. So I started recording videos. I started getting a little bit of traction with people watching. I'm like, you know what? Let me start making drinks. So here we go. I started making drinks and recorded them and posting them to TikTok, and I got more and more and more traction on them. And it was just a fun experience, trying different cocktail recipes that I've known over the years, or new ones that I've found on the internet, and just to see what people's reactions were. And the reactions were astounding to me, because it was just people like, oh my God, I made that drink. It was so good. Hey, why don't we try this one? Or why don't you try this one? And I started getting suggestions, and I started, doing more and more, just mixing drinks for people and drinking the comments and fun stuff like that. And I was having a blast with it. And then one day I hooked up with CW Spirits, because I am a brand ambassador for CW Spirits, full disclosure. So I hooked up with CW Spirits and said, hey, I want to be a brand ambassador. And they accepted my application to be a brand ambassador. They saw, the videos I was putting out there. And the I just started getting new spirits and new bottles sent to me, to try. And yes, I had to make some videos for these companies, but just trying all this new stuff has just been a blast. It's always fun to find and discover new alcohols and new stuff to drink and new cocktail recipes and stuff like that. And I started doing it all on TikTok. So TikTok has been my major platform for me. And then I started, slowly building up my Facebook. So my Facebook is gaining traction. My TikTok has gained traction. But Instagram, I started on Instagram. Then I started on Pinterest. And then I started on YouTube. And I just kept growing and growing and growing. And I mean, now by no means am I like some superstar TikTok guy. I just enjoy doing what I do. And the basis of my cocktails are just easy stuff that you guys can make from home. Like I don't list the ingredients, but I truly tell you my measurements, which my measurement system is the most accurate measurement system in the world that you guys can find. But I tell you the measurements, I tell you what to do, using the simple ingredients that you can get anywhere. I don't use anything too exotic because I want my drinks to be simple for you guys to make. I don't want it to be difficult. Making cocktails does not have to be difficult. And I know I'm going to have, haters and mixologists like, oh, it's all about, the blah, blah, blah. But I want to make my videos easy for you guys to make them at your home. And that's my concept, and that's what I try to do, is to make my cocktails simple, easy ingredients. Now, I've done some really, really messed up ones, too. Trust me. I got some good ones out there, and you can find them all on my socials. But I like to make my cocktails simple for you guys to drink, because simple for you to make, simple for you to drink, because I make them like you're going to make them at home. Now, there's some fancy people that garnish their stuff at home. I don't garnish my cocktails. I don't. Because even when I'm out at a bar, I'm like, hey, listen, keep the fruit, keep the salad. I don't want it. I just want the contents inside. Because I just want to enjoy the drink. And I don't care about, me personally, I don't care about garnish. There's a lot of people that do, but that's my own personal choice. Even when I'm on a cruise ship, I'm like, dude, I don't need the fruit. Because I really don't need the fruit. I'm just here for the drinks. You can keep the fruit salad to yourself because I don't need it. So that's why I don't garnish a lot of my drinks, even on my videos and stuff like that, because that's just not me. It's not me. I don't like it. I don't want to do it. And guess what? I'm not going to do it. I mean, I might do it on one or two just in case, if I want to feel special and want to be pretty, then I'll do it, But most of the time, I don't garnish shit. So there it is. That's my story. If you like it or not, that's what it is, But my social media experience has been a blast for me to make. Now I'm starting this podcast, and this is just like a little teaser of what's to come. I do have some guests that are lined up to be on the podcast. It's going to be video podcast, so you can catch those where you catch your podcasts. I am going to live stream my podcast on my website, which is shipnut.net. You can find all sorts of stuff on there, and I have fun stuff on there. I do blogs on shipnut.net. I have cocktail recipes, some of my favorites that I post on there, and I post new ones all the time. I got all sorts of stuff. I got plenty of links on there too. So you can check those out. Everything on shipnut.net. And this is just a teaser podcast, so you get a little bit of my story. It's going to be a real short one, but I wanted to say hello, guys. Welcome to Tiki Talk, the podcast. My name's Kevin. I will be your host throughout the whole experience. I'm going to try to do a bi-weekly podcast, something like that. And then I do have some guests lined up. I do have some distilleries that I do have lined up for the podcast. I might have some musical guests, and everything will be right there. If you know anyone that wants to get their story out, and that's what this podcast is going to be about too, yes, we're going to do some cocktails. Yes, we're going to do some. I'll do some recipes. I'll do some history of some cocktails. But and then my guests, I want them to get their stories out to you, so you can learn a little bit more about people's stories, because it's going to be fun. We're just going to have fun conversations with everybody and their stories, and that's what we're going to accomplish on this podcast. So, a brief introduction of this podcast. This is just the teaser for things to come in the future, guys. I am so excited to do this, and we will talk to you all soon. Thanks for tuning in to Tiki Talk, guys. I'll talk to you next time. Cheers.